Hey everybody, this is Kyle aka Vulcan Wolverine. It is Wednesday, January 25th. It's about 9:30 a.m. in the morning in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I hope everybody's making it. I hope everybody's finding healing and strength. I'm moving forward, but I'm moving forward. It's complex, right? Because I have biometrics in me, and the magnet thing is pretty complicated. Like I kind of wonder if it can be like it's not a streamlined solution, and it's taken obsessive holding it in spots. I'll talk about some of that after I make my point. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of make this video. I wanted to just make a point about like some of the things that the WEF is saying now, and also, what Yuval Noah Harari has said, or Noah Yuval Harari. I'm not sure how that name goes, but the guy that says we're all hackable animals, and he's saying basically now, surveillance under the skin is possible, right? There's all these new brain invasive technologies that the WEF is actually talking about. Like they're talking about digitization of biometric information, which is biological information, getting that from under the skin, getting that from the brain, right? The WEF is talking about all these things. Consumer products are coming out. Neuralink is coming out. And I wanted to say like what I'm going to do. Like I'm going to go through some of the new stuff that the WEF. I kind of run through that. I have a lot of stimulation, like especially on the left side, and I'm working on it. But it's very unfair what they've done. It's like it's an abuse to target us, but then like what my attackers are doing is extremely abusive. I would say they're even going outside of even their own protocols to try and do something dangerous and injure my brain, because they have a biometric in my like esophagus, then a biometric down further, like in my colon area or my stomach down here, and then they have like biometrics in both sides of my teeth, but this side they have it in like more spots, and then I'm pretty sure not in my right ear, but in my left ear I do have a biometric in the inner ear, that part where they stimulate it to actually the gateway to the brain. And so that's why I've had so many problems over 20 years with my left side in this jaw area. So, okay, I'm getting like way off saying why I slurred my words on like WEF. But I just want to say it's like they're talking about all of these new ways to surveil under the skin and get information from the brain, and we're all just hackable animals. All these things that the WEF is saying that the public's like, oh, all those new technologies, right? We'll be able to read the brain and things like that. I'm going to put some of those up, try and put some of those up, whatever is acceptable for YouTube. I'm going to put those up, and then everything on BitChute. But I want to put out some of the things that they've been saying after I make this video. But my point in this video is that there have been people like me and like you who are watching this video and you're targeted, and we've been talking about like, oh, it feels like my brain's being manipulated. It feels like I'm being hit with microwaves. In my case, they did something very complex to my nervous system to make me feel like I was getting external hits all the time. It's biometrics, like with directed energy going down my arms and then back up to the brain, down my legs and then back up to the brain, right? Using these biometrics. Now, I don't know how much of mine is external, right? We know this is like, it's multifaceted and multi-layered. But the main centerpiece of mine is biometrics that have been put in my teeth, my inner ear, my esophagus, and my stomach. And it's like they can do horrendous damage. It's why it's been so difficult, because I'm a tough fella, and I know a lot of you people are super tough, and this is like incapacitating stuff, right? But I want to say like everybody's accepting that, oh, okay, now we can read the brain, and we can surveil under the skin. The WEF is saying these things out in public, and no one questions. Not one person. I haven't heard one person that talks about any of these technologies. Like, not the technologies being used on us, right? The same technologies that they're saying, oh, we can do this now, we can do this now, we can do this now, out to the public. In the public, you see videos on YouTube with like 300,000 views of new neural, new neural technologies, new, you know, just new neuro weapons and stuff like that, and they can do this all of a sudden, and they can do that, and they can surveil under the skin all of a sudden. And Noah Harari is saying that we're hackable animals, and we'll find out. Somebody can know just as more than you can about your brain, than you even know about yourself. And people are like, oh wow, all those technologies, they just came out, right? But nobody asks, like, right, we've been talking about our torture and experimentation for years and years and years. Nobody says, where does that come from? Like, because any technology that comes out, oh, you can surveil under the skin now? Well, who'd you try that out on? Because you didn't just come out with the technology and it just works all of a sudden right when you reveal it to the public, right? There had to be experimentation, right? So it's very, it's like disconcerting, and no one ever tracks back. Like, everyone has made fun of us while we're dying. People who it could happen to in a second, and their families could be tortured by microwaves too, and biometrics and mind control and those things. But everybody says, oh wow, these technologies just, nobody ever at, who did you use those? Like, how did you find out how they work with the human brain? How did you figure out how to surveil under the skin? And then you have a whole percentages of every country who have been like railing against this and saying, look, and all saying the same thing. Now, it may happen in different ways, and we may all have different situations, different intensities, different protocols that they're doing because they're trying to figure out different things, and they're training in different ways on us. But we've been saying the same things about being attacked by electronic warfare, right? By microwaves, by these things, by directed energy weapons. And now they're bringing out all this technology to the public. We can surveil under the skin. You're just hackable. And, well, where did you practice that on? Who did you experiment on? Do people just automatically think, well, they must have had a bunch of volunteers for this? Because we've been talking about it for years and years, for decades. And everybody doesn't track back to, oh, there was this group of people that they said that their minds were being messed with, and people were stalking them. There was surveillance. There was all, and now the WEF is saying it out to the public. We have this stuff that can surveil under the skin, where we can track people 24 hours a day. Who'd you practice on? Who'd you experiment on to find out those things, right? So I just want to bring out that point, and I think it's a good, I guess, talking point for us, or a way to talk about it, is like, look at all these things. How do you think they got there? Like, just automatically they invented this technology, no human testing, no experimentation, and all of a sudden it can surveil under the skin. It can do that, right? I mean, I guess it's a moot point at this point because they're just using it on everyone, right? They're just jacking everybody in, using nanotechnologies, graphene oxide. I hope I can put this on YouTube now. But also, and then also in my case, biometrics, which I want to resoundingly say again, and y'all know how truthful I am. And I just want to say, like, I swear on my grandparents' grave, my parents' lives, my brother's life, my own life, my firstborn child's life, that, like, I have, biometrics in me that there's no way that the doctors, because it was like putting them in me like a piñata from the day I was born till like the age of, I think the last, I don't know, because I've had dentist appointments after the stomach surgery where he put leads in my clavicles and stuff like that. So I just wanted to make that point. They're talking about all this stuff publicly, and I'm going to put some of those videos out from the WEF, the WEF. I'm going to put some of those out, guys, about what they're saying about these technologies. And, oh, we just have this technology that can read the brain. Oh, we just have this technology that can track under the skin. Oh, who'd you experiment on? Who'd you try it on? Right? And then you've got a whole group of people, right? And I guess call us targeted individuals, people who suffer with Havana syndrome, survivors of Havana syndrome, survivor of biometric experimentation. And I'll tell you what, guys, mine has taken on for a long time. For the last couple of years, it's taken more on the tone of a military footing. Like, this guy needs to die. And I know there's psyops, right? I know there's psyops where they say, we're going to kill you and stuff like that. But having biometrics set up that these attackers did not set up, that are super close to my brain and in my esophagus, in my stomach, and they can just fire them all up, to go to one side, which it affects my memory. I mean, really affects my brain. God's given me tons of miracles, just strength out the wazoo, strength to get through this. But it's, you know, experimentation, but then it's like they're so in the dark, they're so in the shadows that it's like, oh, we'll just do whatever we want to do. At the beginning, the guy on my V2K, and I know a lot of it's chatterbox, but my attackers will take things I think they actually say, like actual reactions, and they put those in the chatterbox. So when I tell you things that they say from the chatterbox, it's usually things they've said, but they're not saying it all the time like the chatterbox does. But at the beginning, the guy was like, one of the human operators that's, using the biometrics in my body, firing them through my nervous system, my vagus nerve system, to the pathways of the brain, right? To try and, to induce morbidity, torture, attempted murder, right? Attempted murder, like on a military, like this guy right now, he's like, we've got to do this. Like, he's always talking about it. And it's like, if I was not using the magnets, and when I started using the magnets, they kind of started clapping back because they're worried that I'm going to actually suppress the biometrics, which I'm doing, but it's just taken so long. And I'll have another video about that. I don't want to do this whole video about this, but I wanted to make the point. The WEF is talking about these technologies openly, saying we've got this and we've got this. Where does it come from? Where do all these new consumer products, these microchips and stuff like that you're going to use in the human body, actually like peering into the mind, surveilling under the skin? They're talking about all those things. Who'd you experiment on? How do you know they work on humans? They would have to test them on humans, right? And it seems silly for me to have to say this, right? Because I've been tortured and experimented on since birth, at least since the age of 12, but pretty sure birth. That thing in Prometheus where David the android has the little thing on his finger, and he says, big things come from the smallest places or whatever. I can't remember the exact line, but I think I had one tiny biometric put into me as a newborn, and it's grown into this because I had that biometric in me. They were using that till the age of 12. It caused Crohn's disease, right? I mean, this is serious. Causing an autoimmune disorder when a newborn's growing up to the age of 10, and then they have to go to a hospital, but since they already have a biometric, it's already caused disease in them. It just open field day, right? And I don't know which ones were put in at which hospital. I guess I want to go ahead to, I'm very, very, I'm like above pissed at my attackers. It's like on a footing of they're like saying they're going to murder me. It's like a military footing to me where everybody else just thinks I'm mentally ill, and even my parents who are being mind controlled and tortured are like, won't even listen to me about the positive stuff anymore. My mom's even sick of hearing about like, oh, well, I'm getting along, and this is huge stuff. So I do want to say, I may save it for another video, but I'm like way more than just pissed, going in a good direction of like breaking these things with like a homemade gorilla magnet structure, right? Against like, biometrics that were put in my body by different people, different doctors and dentists and stuff like that, who had no freaking idea what they would be used for. And now I have a clown on these directed energy weapons, and he's given lots of money, running vehicular stalking, paying gang stalkers and everything like that, with biometrics that were never meant for this. And the doctors, I don't, I think maybe some doctors know, but the way it was done with me, I don't think they could have. The way that they like peppered biometrics through my body like a shotgun blast, and I'm pretty sure I've got my finger on where they are, but you've got to hold the magnets on. And this, I'm talking about 3,600 pound pull magnets. I don't know how doable this is. And there's like the 600-pound pull magnets are like $150. So if anybody can find cheap magnets, and the danger of using them if you're using multiple magnets, right? Um, so a little bit of just like who were they experimenting on? If they're talking about all these technologies, and that's such an insult. It's such an insult for everybody. You get YouTube videos with millions of views about new, mind mapping technologies and new neural technologies and everything like this, and new surveillance technology. Who'd they test them on? You know? And then why would anybody ever say, when we as targeted individuals tell people what we're going through, why would anybody say, well, you're not that important? Why would that even be part of the discussion? Our importance. And I'll tell you, you are super important. You were born into this universe. You have inherited this universe and everything. You've inherited way more than that. You've inherited reality when you were born, and you are royalty, and you are important. But what the system thinks of us, what a bottom of the totem pole gang stalker or microwave murderer thinks of us. I don't think they think we're special. Because my attack on the V2K, he's like, nobody cares about this guy, blah blah. And then even the woman on the V2K, and I know it's a chatterbox like psyop and stuff, but she's like, it doesn't matter what you think about him. You can't murder him still. Um, but I just want to talk, man. I'm like really dry. I'm really dried out. I'm getting there though. I'm going. Whatever's gonna happen, even if I die, I will win because God is empowering me. Man, proof. I can't prove it to anybody else about God's power, about the chain of creation, but nobody will ever take that away from me. I mean, but because weird, right? Because of what my attackers have done to me, because I've been tortured so long, God's given me strength through this unprecedented stuff. So look for that. I know that we're going through very dark times, and just get with God. There's a chain of creation and life in this universe and beyond, right? In the name of Jesus Christ, that loves human beings, wants to see us happy and healthy and progress. What we have on this world, this attack we're going through right now by our predators, they want to decimate us, devolve us, and decimate us. Excuse me. But sometimes, in what I've seen, is when troglodyte thugs and predators want to devastate you and destroy you. God will get in there, and your resistance to it, right, with him at the helm, can make you so strong, can make you so formidable. So I just see that God already preempted all this stuff that our predators are doing. There's a lot of bad stuff going on. I don't know the reason, God's reasoning for that. Obviously, I don't think any of us do. But there's a lot, there's more light that shines through the darkness, I see, even with myself. Now, I'm not it sucks. It's hell. It's hell going through this. I was saying, like, it's like I'm going in a progression where I'm like, it's if then therefore I am wearing down the biometrics, and this is super hopeful. And then I'm like, holy crap, I still feel like I'm living in hell, right? Because it's pretty serious. Like if I don't, like especially this left ear, the left ear right here. If I don't get on it, they can really, from that one, that's the one they use to amp up. I'll get really angry. So they use other ones, but it seems like the one in the left ear, and I don't think I have one in the right ear. That's why I've had more ringing in my left ear since the beginning of the targeting. There's evidence that not just the magnets affecting it, but like when I would lay down, I would like lay down on my right side, and I'd wake up with the whole left side of my body like feeling like I had had a stroke, burning the left side of my body from a lot of evidence. I'm pretty sure left ear, and then I definitely have some in my teeth. Like this sounds crazy, I think, even to some of you targeted individuals, but I didn't know for so long like how it was being done to me. Now I'm not saying it can't be done in other ways, but I'm super questioning targeted individuals that have intense targeting and V2K. Like, what kind of damage did you get your wisdom teeth taken out, right? Because it seems like in the back where my wisdom teeth were taken out, or maybe these back teeth is a huge spot, right? Um, so I know I'm kind of rambling right now. I think what I'll do on videos, because if I'm gonna make a video, I kind of want to talk about what I want to talk about. So I'll make my major point at the beginning of the video, and then I might talk about my personal situation or kind of my plans. I was kind of like holding off on telling y'all exactly what my trajectory is about what I'm gonna do, but I don't think it matters. Like I think it's best to just tell y'all. And then so some of y'all can think about it, maybe doing it yourself or think about your own situation. But I want to remind y'all about the DTI. I got a DTI now. It's gosh, my attackers are, and I'm working on this one. It's helping my memory. I'm working on the one in my left ear. Um, I can't believe like I was totally warned off of thinking that there was like a body area network. I go back to like listening to oh, and I'm having trouble with names. Crud. But the on Dr. Horton's team, the lady who had the body area network in her, and she had all the proof from the doctors and everything like that. Dr. Millicent, right? Dr. Millicent Black. I, you know, when she talked about her body area network, I was like, well, I don't have something like that. I, maybe have one biometric that's tracking me, but everything's like external radar directed energy, right? And then I think back to some of the times I was in a little townhouse and I was like, well, it feels like because I'm putting my hand and it feels like they're hooking the directed energy down, right? Because that's what my hand was feeling. That's what my hand was feeling. You guys listen to me because this is they're in control of your nervous system, and so when I put my hand out, it felt like the directed energy was curving down, right? And they can make it feel like directed energy is coming from a lot of different directions. Now, when I've been messing with these biometrics, I feel a lot of stimulation decrease, like under my arms and my hands, like it will tingle, like your arms falling asleep, like when I'm on the biometric in my left ear in both arms, and then I don't, and they would make me feel like heat on the magnet to make me feel like they were hitting it with directed energy, right? I was like, they're hitting my magnet with directed energy, and it's like decreasing the magnetization, but it's directed energy through my hands and my legs, and then I touch something, they can make it feel like it's heated up. So they will hit stuff with external beams, right? But then they can make you feel like that's what's happening with your nervous system. Comment below about what you guys know about that. But working with the magnets and like lowering it down has kind of opened my eyes to a lot of things. But I did want to say, okay, I got a little bit of time left. I want to say kind of my plans, the DTI, the MRI, that's the word I couldn't remember, MRI. But you can get an MRI, but the DTI, the diffusion tensor imaging test, it's the test that the Cuban embassy workers got, right. And I've been talking about that for a while. I got one in 2018. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get another one, and it's 2023 now. Heck, almost said 2022. I was living in last year. Um, but the DTI, right? If you get comparative DTIs, and now on the DTI in 2018, they took it and they were like, "There's nothing that we see here that's irregular," because they didn't know what they were looking for, right? But if I have a DTI from 2018 and a DTI from 2023, and I've been targeted, my brain's been targeted over that period of years, right? 5 years, it's gonna look a lot different, right? For the white matter tracks in my brain. So I would recommend that everyone get a MRI, a DTI MRI, and then you probably need to get one later on. But that's what I'm going to get now. And then what I wanted to try and do now, I have heard that. Oh man, I'm having a lot of trouble remembering like names of things and stuff like that. But one of the groups, and it's a big group, and I just can't remember the name of it. Midge's group, Midge Mathis's group, um, targeted targeted. Okay, I can't remember the name of it right now. That's a real mind control thing. That's not because I suck. But I heard that they had found a lawyer, and were maybe doing a class action suit. Maybe I heard that somewhere. I'm not quite sure. I need to go look at the website. But what I want to do, I would like to just go straight up. I'm going to start shopping for civil rights lawyers. Now, I may need a different type of lawyer. I may need like some kind of torture lawyer or experimentation lawyer. But I'm going to start out with a civil rights lawyer, and I'm going to try and find a lawyer with enough balls, right? That's the whole thing. But my plan is to talk to some people and maybe find a lawyer that's tough enough, and maybe like on the promise of a settlement that we could get, get his help and get it, and then get him to direct me to one of his doctors, right? One of the reasons I think that my targeting is getting so violent is because I'm walking evidence, and I know where my evidence is, right? Um, and then I'm putting that out there, which every targeted individual may not have like a body area network or something like that. I'm very suspicious even about target individuals who have not gotten surgery. If you've had a colonoscopy or your wisdom teeth out or any dental work, I'm pretty suspicious, because I know my dad, who knows nothing about this. He got an aneurysm after I turned 33, a week after, and his teeth, he's got cavities all in his teeth, and he's like this, and he had ringing in his ears. Like, there's a lot of evidence that, I think my dad had biometrics put in his teeth, and he hasn't had any like surgeries or anything like that. I just want to say I'm very suspicious about that. And I know this is done in a lot of different ways, but I think that we have been betrayed. Like, I think that like people trying to kind of shoo off the idea of implants and stuff like that, and it's done in a way more complicated way. I think that is, it can be done, but the way that it's mostly done, I don't think so. I don't think so, because of the way that mine worked and the way that they played me to think everything was external, right? And it's not even close to everything external, if there is. And what I mean when I say external, because there are signals going to the biometrics in my body, I mean like a directed energy stream going to my head, like in my ears. I don't think my attackers need that, right? Because they have the biometric in the inner ear, teeth, and then the esophagus and the stomach down here. But in people where they don't have as many biometrics, they may rely on that external directed energy to the head, right? So I'm questionable, I'm just questionable about how much of what is what, right? So I'm kind of just kind of talking about that, just thinking that out loud. But to get a civil rights lawyer, where to start? Now, I do think that I can't remember the group's name, and that sucks. That's a sucky thing I did on this video, but I don't want to have to remake the video. But it's Midge Mathis' group. Y'all know who I'm talking about. It's on the tip of my brain. Targeted Survivor. Sorry, I'm sorry, Midge. If you watch my videos, I really apologize. Like, I say the name of it all the time, but my attackers are working on, like, with what they have left of the biometrics, they're working on face hugging as much as they can. And one of the things is I really have been thinking about speaking out more as I feel more energetic, right? And so they're doing their level best to, like, to stop that. But the civil rights lawyer first, and then the civil rights lawyer, if they have enough balls, to direct me to some kind of doctor. Now, all this is predicated on, like, I don't know if there's any American lawyer. I don't know how hard this is going to be, because I haven't shopped lawyers yet. But going to just the doctors is not working. They're covering it up. They're gaslighting me. They're being directed not to give me medical treatment. Pepto-Bismol, and I have a huge biometric in my esophagus, right? And I didn't even say anything about burping to these emergency room doctors that I went to. Holy crap. But so the doctors have like covered it up. They've been informed, and American doctors are pretty much chained from helping us. So going through the lawyer is my next idea, but all this is predicated on like I don't know if it's going to work. My bigger plans are like get to Florida first, away from where I'm at now, the environment I'm at now, because they have to cater to gang stalkers, and if you don't look crazy or you're getting healthier, it's not good for the groups of people they've got to mob you, right? So they've got to keep you down. So if I get to Florida, it makes it less important, I think, for them. And then I've talked about like I really I want to fight for my country, but I might pull a Max Egan, right? Because of my personal situation. And I know that I can get the biometrics down, but I'm dealing with a human group that's very dangerous, right? So the concrete, oh, this works, the magnets work on this stuff. Boy, that's great. And God has created a miracle, but I'm dealing with a military mindset guy. There's people in the group, I think they really are dissenting on this because it's so serious. It's so serious. It's a military footing. And they're just trying to cast me as like oh, he's mentally ill or whatever, the bad things they say about target individuals. But it's really the reality of it is super serious. And I know many of you target individuals, you're like, yeah, my situation's super serious too. Yes, that's the problem. Because I look at my situation, that's what I wanted to say earlier. I wanted to say, I'm sitting here with clarified hope. With like, I mean, this guy's scary. The guy on the V2K, the human operators, he's like a professional murderer. Like he knows what he's doing with these weapons. Like he's tricking me with this like game. And if I say the word game, the chatterbox always goes, I'm not playing a game. I'm not playing a game. He's the one murdering me, and he's not playing around anymore, and he's not playing a game. Like if I think of any kind of like movie inspiration in my head, he's like, I'm not playing a game. What are you talking about? What are you thinking in your stupid thug head? Like I'm not playing a game. You're not. You're looking at my thoughts about like RoboCop or what did I watch? I watched Rocky Four again. Y'all know I love Rocky Four. Um, but anyway, I kind of got off track because I was talking about my B2K. But that's kind of my initial plans to get a doctor through a lawyer to go lawyer shopping. And then I think I'm just going to be putting out everything because there's been no real mercy. I think from the chatterbox, right, from the talk of my human operators on the electronic warfare, the chatterbox too. But like I told you, I think it's stuff they really say, and they put it into this dialogue, this script, right? I think there is dissent. Like some of them don't want to kill me. They're like, we're not killing this guy. But it's like it's all a right. It's something that unprecedented where it's like, well, if his body gives out or if he has an aneurysm, that's not really murdering him. We're not really responsible for that. We were just experimenting on him, right? So it's like they can just say whatever the hell they want because they're in the dark on this, right? They're in the shadows on this, and they can kind of just kill somebody, commit attempted murder every day, and go, well, it's experimentation. It's really important, right? And the public don't know about it, right? It's that kind of crap. Um, so I'm just gonna try and get my brain going and also the most important thing, I'm just gonna let God flow in. I'm very depressed about how this has worked out, how much time that it's taken up in my life. I'm very happy about the people I've met and the friends I've made. I'm very, there's lots of things where I'm like, well, I see why this happened to me in life, but then there's lots of things where there's, heartbreak that God's gonna have to help me heal, and that's just going to take time, right? But I'm in that situation where it's like I feel like I have hope to get out of it as bad as it is, and then and like my point earlier that I didn't finish, and I do that all the time, and I'm doing it right now. But I was thinking about people who don't like have maybe like innovative thinking about like doing bizarre, like the most bizarre things, whatever it takes, right? I go crazy over that. I don't care how I look. I don't care if I look crazy. I'm going to do what it takes to get my body and my brain safer because this is dangerous stuff, right? But there may be some people out there, well, there's people out there who it's harder for, right? They just don't think that way, and they may be getting the full 100% of the targeting, right? And it's like they don't feel like they have any hope. And I'm saying, like, I have straight up concrete stuff I'm looking at that's very hopeful in my personal situation. Looking at the world, it's like, man, we're going into crap town. But I'm like, man, and I still feel like I live in hell. I remember when I didn't have, as much hope, and I'm like, man, I gotta speak out. We gotta do something about this, no matter how hopeless it is, no matter what it feels like. It's so wrong. Like it's just like like them. It's this parasite guy, and he just said it on the V2K again. He's like, I'm not playing around with him anymore. Turn it up. Um, but like me, like working with these magnets and trying to keep them off, right? And this guy going, "We've got to do this," and if I just stop using the magnets, he'd try and kill me. Like the biometrics would kind of bounce back a little bit, and it's so close to the brain over here, unprecedented, right? Unthinkable that somebody could do that. But hey, they're in the shadows and nobody knows about it, right? So we've got a long road ahead of us. I don't know why I said that. I was trying to end it with something. Um, how about I just say God's in control? I've seen so many miracles in this. One funny thing, and I think I've said this before, but y'all know, like I love the Rocky movies. I love watching them as inspiration. I think they're just good movies too. They're made very well. And I was like watching Rocky 4, and it got me a little bit inspired because the way that he wins fights, the way that he wins fights is getting hit so much that the other person gets tired. And I and I hear my V2K, and the dude is just like, it's almost like it's at a certain point I'm psyoping him. Now I know that they're running the chatterbox and stuff like that, but I'm annoying him because I'm not a bad person. I'm not going the way they want it to go, right? Into just being crazy and dying. So it's more like it kind of turns on him, and that's why it's like now they're just like, oh, we're gonna just mutilate him and kill him, and that's the psyop, right? Because the psyops aren't working anymore. All right, guys, I'm getting to about 40 minutes. I kind of just wanted to do an update like that. My main point was like the WEF. So look at all the stuff that they've been saying about the different surveillance technologies. Who did they test that out on? And if somebody goes, I don't see why anybody ever should say like, why do you think you're so important? Because in the secular, right, in the secular of these weapon systems and these programs of torture and experimentation, it's actually, they think we're fodder, right? Which you're not. You have inherited this reality. God allowed you to be birthed into this reality, and you are connected to it all. You are connected to it all. You are connected to a great chain of creation and a God above even this universe. Not just the God above this universe, the God above everything. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. I've never seen so many miracles. It's still a very hard road, and the isolation is terrible. And sometimes it's like I have biometrics that somebody's attacking me with inside my body. I want to make a video about that. I get embarrassed about this stuff, right? I wasn't at first because I thought the Senate was just going to take care of it. The UN was going to step in. We can be a little bit of embarrassed and hug a bear, but it's embarrassing stuff. What kind of stuff they're doing to the body. And I want relationships and things in my life. And I think that's why a lot of targeted individuals don't speak out. It's not even only because it's dangerous, it's embarrassing. And they don't want people to know. So people are like, well, oh, you're a good person, but that's way too much. People won't invite it into their lives, right? Um, but these are videos for targeted individuals, and I'm a targeted individual, so I've got to talk about it. And God will provide. God. This is the thing. I don't see certain solutions. I don't see how certain things will work out. But that's how the targeting's gone. And then I've always found something, elbow grease and a lot of innovative thinking, right? With God putting his strength in. And so it's a responsibility. We live in an inverted world, right? We should be getting help. I should be getting help for being tortured and being innocent. But it turns out I have a responsibility because this is happening to me to help people who maybe they can't, or, so if you're an innovative thinker, it's like, it's weird. You should be getting help, but you got a responsibility, right? That sounds so weird. It sounds so unjust. But these are the times we live in, right? Um, I love you guys. I just wanted to kind of put that out, like, who are they experimenting on? All this technology they're talking about in the public, right? We know how bad it's gotten, right? We know how bad it's gotten. We are not a small community. This is the world. They're jacking in the world. They're jacking in the world using many, many different means. And I think even before the thing, they had stuff that they're telling us is conspiracy theory, and they're just doing it to everybody, right? Like people who don't even feel pain or anything might be walking around with like a biometric in their inner ear from a colonoscopy that they had to go to sleep on, or some kind of surgery or something like that. Or they got their wisdom teeth out and then had a little biometric put into the gums in the back or something like that. You'd have people out there who haven't even felt microwaves, right, or any kind of pain from it, but they're up on the slab, right? They've got the hardware in them. And that's, I got rolled because I had the hardware in me, and they went harder because I'm actually, like, well, I'm not sure about that, but a theory is my right side of my brain works really good. They're trying to teach AI how to be creative, right? That's why a lot of us are painters and artists and writers. We're artists, right? We're artist types, a lot of us. It's not the whole kit and caboodle of targeted individuals, but they want to teach AI how to be more creative. So if you got that right mind, have a strong right and left brain, right? So I think that's when I was little, that's why they started pushing whatever biometric that I already had as a newborn, and it gave me Crohn's disease because there was something with my brain that was like, oh, the AI needs to learn this, right? Somebody, like some agents, even kind of, they didn't say it outright, but they were like, oh, well, the AI needs certain to, experiment on certain personalities and stuff like that. And, they were, people who were, kind of fishy, kind of fishy. All right. So I love you guys. And I'll see you on the next one because I'm getting to like 40 something minutes, but I just wanted to kind of say that, just keep fighting, keep punching, keep punching. It's from Rocky 3. Awesome movie also.